Paladins is a game that values aesthetics over substance in terms of lore and storytelling, and that's not just with maps, but with bios and character backstory.
Yeah,
The most
you're
we
right.
can ascertain
Let's talk
of
about that. This is a topic that I wanted to cover last time, but I thought would fit better as its own video. Characters are the most important part of a game's story, and deserve a closer look. With that in mind, it's important to think about why a story is good for this type of game. It gives direction to the environment and makes the player feel more immersed in a world that feels lived in. Paladins gives its characters a story through blurbs shown in the character cards, and customization, noting screen text, emotes, and taunts. Paladins also used to have a handful of interactions between characters upon killing one another, but this feature has been removed according to the wiki. Some of the lore hints are good, some of them are misleading, and some are just bad. The best way of seeing this is to look at one or two character threads. First, let's look at the blurbs of Androxus and Lex. Androxus used to be a lawman alongside Lex, but was cursed after killing a being claiming to be a goddess. This curse causes Androxus to hunger for souls, leading him to abandon his duties as a lawman, and through this he became Lex's target. His former friend had to hunt him down to protect the people Androxus once protected himself. This setup creates a natural tension between the characters and could create a compelling personal narrative for the game to explore in any pre-game or kill chatter. Paladins actively chooses not to pursue this story, and the tragedy of Androxus is left to ruin, partially from the creative decision of never rehiring the same voice actors. The next character you can see this in is Corvus. In his weapon inspection animation, you can hear Corvus gained his powers through experimentation with the Abyss, which saved him from the destruction of the town Ceres. Desperate to save his people, Corvus was easily tricked by the Abyssal Lord that destroyed Ceres and took the town's name into bringing Rom out of the Abyss and into the realm to wreak havoc. The relation between Corvus and Rom is not present at all in the game. It is a piece of lore that I learned only by going back and double-checking the lore. Much like in its maps, Paladins has great concepts, but often falls short on developing these concepts in interesting ways. It often focuses on making an interesting premise for the characters and their backstories. However, it doesn't follow through on the premise, and so fails to create a cohesive story. Instead of creating fleshed out characters, they often feel like only a shell of personality. Part of this comes from the fact that no voice actor has returned to reprise their role as any character since they first recorded the voice. As before, a good place to look to see how to use characters properly is Overwatch. Overwatch has characters interact a lot throughout the game, and has the maps show character details and hints. Overwatch's characters show life and humor through the small moments. Blizzard did not add any character bios in the game, because the trailers give a solid understanding of each character's story, who they are, and what they value. Taking one of the most recent heroes, Kiriko, and looking at her trailer, we can see she's kind, and the thing she cares about most is the community she's in. Having grown up with the Shimada brothers, when in the game we can see she has playful interactions with Genji.
Remember when you had a bowl cut?
Yes. You didn't want to be the only one.
I never had one.
I believe I have pictures.
And keeps pushing Hanzo.
I hope your mother is well.
The Hashimoto run our neighborhood now, so...
Oh, I am sorry to hear that.
Sorry enough to help.
It's clear she has a deeper history with both of them. The second character we're going to look at is Reinhardt and his trailer, Honor and Glory.
So, that's it. You're leaving us.
I have been called. I must answer. It is a great honor.
In the game, we see Reinhardt as a dependable team player who looks after the people he's with. The trailer shows a young Reinhardt who is reckless and doesn't care for others.
I love the wind in my hair.
Get back and protect your team!
Ah, they're just slowing me down.
We then see how he lost his eye. then him learning to care for others.
No, I'm staying here. But
And why he joined Overwatch.
Winston's message wasn't meant for you. This isn't your fight.
I have been called. I must answer. Always.
The consequences of the trailer can be seen in the map. I am going to mispronounce this, sorry for the chair creak. Eichenwald? Eichenwald.
Eichenwald.
You can see the general's armor still seated in the chair where he passed away. Overwatch uses its characters to explain the world. It ties them together with the maps and makes each person feel as if they had an impact on the world that we see. It uses its trailers to explore the history of the world and explain why its characters are the way they are. There is one final game I think teaches us a lot about why characters are important. Team Fortress 2. Team Fortress 2 focuses its story solely upon its characters and their interactions both in and out of the game. Unlike the previous games, Team Fortress 2 has not added any characters since the game first launched, giving the dev team time to build a narrative centered around the 9 that you play as. My personal favorite example from the marketing is the Pyro Meet the Team trailer. It creates an unnerving mystique around the character of the Pyro.
I fear no man, but that thing. It scares me.
And it shows the fear that they instill in the characters that they interact with.
No, I ain't talking about that freak, alright? He's not here, is he? How do I get this fucking thing off?
Then we get to see what the Pyro sees. Even while the trailer is clearly meant to be funny, it still demonstrates how well the TF2 team creates strong characters. What this trailer does is put you into the mindset of the Pyro and see their motivations to do what they do, alongside seeing how the other characters interact with them. Another story we can look at is the friendship that has formed between the Blue Soldier and the Red Demo Man, a natural progression of the personalities of these characters. This friendship was split once for the War update. This update has Soldier and Demo pitted against each other, and a counter going to see which one killed more of the other, with the Soldier winning the contest. Valve had a tendency to use its major updates to further the story of the characters in-game, causing the relationships to evolve in unique ways. TF2 has taken its time to build a narrative around a small group of characters whose lives are intertwined together. This gives the devs plenty of opportunity to give each character their own sense of history and progress, making a fun story to research that, even when complex, never feels like it's been cobbled together. Looking at the 3 games, you can see a few major points on how to build character stories. The first thing to do is figure out a background and personality of the characters. The second is to have consistency between the story that the player is told and the story that the player sees. Next is to keep the story moving forward, keeping the story beats of the characters progressing in interesting developments. Last, and arguably the most important, is to have the characters interact, because through this we can learn more about who the characters are than what we're told. Paladins has the first of these, and we can see that it lacks compared to the others. Overwatch knows its story and builds its world around it. TF2 knows its characters and builds its world around them, but Paladins doesn't know what it is, and thus fails to follow through on its numerous engaging hooks throughout the war. If Paladins brought back the voice actors for Androxus and Lex, they could have the two acknowledge their history, possibly having Lex try to find any way he can help Androxus, or having either show remorse upon killing the other. But until Paladins makes changes like these, it's never going to realize the potential of its characters. I would like to thank you all for watching this far into the video, and I would like to give a special thanks to Peak Raven, who voiced Utopian's comment. If you want to find more of her work, you can call into the void and hope that it doesn't respond. Have a good day.